devices will be taken from you. All rise. The Honorable Judge Gene Richardson presiding.
Be seated, please. All right, good. Okay. Good evening. You hear this is a municipal court, City of Rome, municipal court, environmental court. We do have one civil case. We'll do the civil case first. If all parties involved in the City of Rome versus 7 Porter Street. Please, this is a nuisance abatement case. This is the law where the City of Rome has passed a law to abate nuisances, and that is structures which are unsound or unfit for human consumption, residency. Is the city ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And is there anyone here representing 7 Porter Street? Is the owner or manager of 7 Porter Street present? All right. And your name, please, sir?
Mr. Bailey.
Okay, Mr. Bailey, are you the owner of 7 Porter Street? Are you the owner of 7 Porter Street?
I am.
Okay, you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Okay, the city could go ahead and present the case, please.
Raise your right hand. You
Go ahead.
Tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. And we will do the oath on every case. However, for the benefit of time, we'll not go through the oath on every case. But we do the oath, obviously, on every case. Go ahead, please.
State your name and position with the City of Rome, sir.
Howard Gibson, building official.
Have you performed a property maintenance inspection at 7 Porter Street?
Yes, I have.
Do you have evidence that can describe the property as needing to be abated by the City of Rome?
Yes, I do.
In your professional opinion, sir, is the property at 7 Porter Street, can it be saved?
No, sir.
Do you have some photographs?
Yes, Your Honor. If I can get it to work. This is a 2-story house that's had a lot of work done on it, which was not done by code. No permits were pulled. It's starting to really deteriorate. It's being used by vagrants. Evidence of drug activity inside. You can see some of the construction where it was just added on and added on to. Severe roof leaks. If you notice, actually where the stairwell going upstairs is settled, half the house is settled about 6 inches, and that's about to fall through. Vandals have started stealing all the wiring out of it. Just more vandalism. All the windows have been broken one way or the other. That's where a section of the ceiling fell out from roof leaks. More roof damage. Okay.
Do you have any questions for the city in regard to the property?
No, sir.
Okay. And is this structure unsafe for an unsafe structure?
Yes, sir, it is.
And is this a possibility to rehabilitate a piece of property, or is the cost of rehabilitation prohibitive?
The cost is very prohibitive. It's got severe structural damage.
And does this create a health and safety condition and concern for the citizens of the City of Rome?
Yes, sir. There's illegal activities and drugs and dogfighting going on at this house.
And does the owner have any more questions? Is there anything you want to tell the court? Any evidence you want to present?
Judge, we have spent a lot of time and money, thousands of dollars, trying to make repairs. I've had people trying to live there and working, and they didn't allow them to continue to live there and work, so that didn't work. The money we've spent on this house is overwhelming. It is a lot of money. I'm just not in a position at this time to really tear down the structure or something of that nature. I have contacted some officials with the City of Rome and was hoping that we could possibly, with South Rome Redevelopment, donate maybe that structure or a house to the city for some type of future use.
Mr. Gibson, are you aware of anything of that nature, the conversation happening?
There have been conversations, Your Honor, but This has been going on a considerable length of time.
Mr. Gibbs, is this the same house that we've been dealing with for like a year and a half or so now? That this is not the first time the case has been in front of me.
That is correct.
Okay, this has been going on now for over a year, as I recall.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there's been no effort to do any rehabilitation, no permits issued, or anything of that nature?
No, sir. Not at all.
And the cost of rehabilitation is simply prohibitive?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything further? Okay, after hearing the evidence, we will grant the abatement nuisance order. I also grant an order allowing the City of Rome to enter upon the premises, remove the structure, and any other violations of the code. However, there will be a 30-day period of time, Mr. Owner, if you feel like you can abate the nuisance yourself and remove the structure yourself, that may be beneficial to you because you can certainly remove it cheaper than the City of Cannes. A FIFA will issue putting a lien against the property. This is a condition which causes great concern to the safety and health of the citizens. There are other people living close by this structure, and obviously it's a danger to them, and the city will abate the nuisance. We'll call the next case. I believe we have an emergency hearing. Y'all are excused. I understand we have an emergency matter that's come up that we need to address involving a structure, and that's the City of Rome versus McCall Apartments. Anyone involved in the City of Rome versus McCall Apartments, owners, residents, any other officials involved in the City of Rome versus McCall Apartments? I think this matter just came up just a day or so ago, and it's a matter y'all have asked me to schedule an emergency hearing on. Okay, tell me what has brought this emergency about that we need to convene an emergency hearing.
Yes, Your Honor. We're here today because the property located at 310 South Broad Street in Rome, Georgia, it's a 30-unit apartment complex. We had a notice of violation issued on the property 2 years ago. We were working with prior ownership to try and resolve some of the issues. However, there was a ownership change due to a foreclosure by the bank. And there's also a tremendous language barrier. The population of the apartments is mostly Hispanic, and the property manager on site is also Spanish, so we've had a lot of difficulty with communication. The city did post a property for the hearing in both English and in Spanish. Bilingual flyers were passed out. We also had an interpreter on site during our most recent inspection, which is why we were able to bring this case here today.
And I understand there appears to be several dozen people from the apartments that are up here. Are those residents at the apartments?
They are, Your Honor. We have some residents here today, as well as the resident manager, property maintenance company from Atlanta, and the bank representative. I also have Fire Marshal Martin here, who did the initial fire inspection. I have an 8-page report to submit to the judge on that behalf. We ask that the fire marshal's report be admitted into evidence.
Thank you. Is there any objection to the admission of this exhibit? Hearing no objection, it will be admitted without objection. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Inspector Martin at this time to discuss the conditions as found in the fire report.
All right. And I know you have a number of photographs. Do you have the photographs available also?
We do have photos available. Would you like me to go through the photos first, Your Honor?
Probably be best to the photographs first, because I've got a copy here, but let's let everyone see what I've been looking at. So.
This is the emergency closing for McCall Apartments in Rome, Georgia. Your Honor, this is the basement area. This is a service access which is in extreme rotted condition, very dilapidated and unsafe for passage. And as you can see here in the lower portion, there's actually sewage embedded in the basement. The basement's very deep, as this was once the hospital in Rome, Georgia. It was converted for residential use about 30 years ago. This just shows some of the poor condition of the facilities and equipment in the building. We have a lot of out-of-dated pipes. We also have some open electrical issues, junction boxes, which are in close proximity to the water. This is just another close-up of the actual sewage that's laying in and about the basement area. So you can see that's a concrete cinder block, and the sewage is actually halfway up the block. It's standing on its ends, so about 6 inches deep, raw sewage. Fire Marshal Martin, if you could you explain to Judge what's going on here in this photo?
Yes, Your Honor. Throughout the apartment complex, there have been egress doors to each
unit that have been padlocked shut, and that is a really harsh violation because some of the residents may not be able to use the egress doors if they could be trapped in, locked into their apartments and no way to get out.
Your Honor, this is an example of some of the wiring in the building. We have a lot of children that live in the building, and this is open panel boxes, which could create a shock hazard just from touching any of these components, not to mention the fact that there's roof leaks creating water in the floors. These are apartments that are, some are vacant and some are occupied. This was an occupied unit, which you see the plumbing is completely clogged and creating a very unsanitary situation inside the apartment. Here you'll see just an example of the broken counters. We have flooring that is not properly sealed. There's an extreme amount of unsanitary conditions with dirt and infestation of bugs. In this example, Your Honor, due to the lack of ventilation in these apartments, does not have central heat and air. There's a couple of window air units, but for the most part, the windows are non-functional, and therefore you have a tremendous amount of mold and mildew issues are very toxic to the residents there. That's all we have in photos, Your Honor. I would like Inspector Martin, if you could explain to Your Honor the condition of the sprinkler system on the units. This would be the fire suppression system.
Yes, Your Honor. Throughout the facility, it is fully sprinkled. The sprinkler heads have been painted, which makes them not work properly. The inspection is supposed to be done yearly on the system to ensure that it's in compliance with the standards that it needs to be. It has been tagged by the sprinkler inspection company, but they have tagged it as not working correctly. The egress exit signs and emergency lighting throughout the facility have been painted over and no longer work properly, and it is a fire violation. If anything was to happen, these folks could really be in some trouble, and we ask that these problems be abated or repaired for the safety of the residents. We have great concerns over that.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any, who's representing the property? Anything else from the city?
No, Your Honor.
It does appear to be, it's obviously a very emergency situation involved. And do we have representatives from the management or ownership of the apartments?
Your Honor, I'm here representing the property maintenance company out of Atlanta. We were hired by the current mortgage holder of the bank.
Was this a foreclosure?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay.
We just took ownership of the property. We did not know the condition of the property at the time of foreclosure.
Okay. And when did you just became aware of this? Just a few days ago?
As soon as we took ownership, yes, sir.
Did you not have a on-site property manager? Or the bank just took possession of the property in front of everything?
Exactly.
They took ownership and hired our company,
Okay.
and it happened about 6 months ago.
And do you have do you have somebody
Yes, we
close
have an
by that
on-site
we can-
manager that lives in the building, and when the conditions were brought to our attention by the local building inspectors, we at that point tried to encourage tenants to move out of the facility, and we had a difficult time with the language barrier and other conditions that they come forward that they have where they cannot leave the property.
Okay. You've seen the photographs and the evidence presented by the city. Is there any contention by the ownership or management company that anyone should be living in these units?
No objection.
Okay, all right. Y'all understand that these people their very health and livelihood is at stake here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else from the management company or the owner of the company? Okay. And there's a resident manager here. Has there been any action to try to abate this? The city's asking me to shut these apartments down and move these people out right now. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You realize these people have children. They've got to get a place to go.
We do understand that,
And
Your
has there
Honor.
been any effort to try to do something? I want to give them, they want to be treated with dignity, respect. We're going to make sure all government agencies involved, local, not only government agencies, any private company, any other private people who can help people can get involved and help them try to find a place to move and live. I realize they've got to move and move promptly, but I don't want to just kick them on the street. I'm not going to sign an order moving them out today. Has there been any discussions about doing something on an interim basis to give them some time?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, Senior Ben has a exit plan. He's been working very hard on behalf of the tenants because he himself is a tenant. They have children there also. Okay. So he wanted to kind of present his situation, and there are some provisions that we have asked for at the bottom of the order.
Okay, I noticed it. I know the presentation is to, obviously, you got to get those blocks removed. Let me have the resident manager come forward so we can find out what he's doing. And you've seen the pictures. You live there, right?
Yes.
Did you live there with your family?
Yes. The family.
Okay, so you're aware of the conditions that you have these people living in. Do you collect rent from them?
Yes, collecting rent, but this is...
well, if you're using the money to...
Okay.
Is the owner not giving you permission to try to make this place halfway decent? I realize it's a monumental task, but what efforts have you made to try to make these?
The locks on the doors, they take them off the people, the party outside the doors. So we put the locks on the doors to keep the people out. We don't want to come into the apartment. This is what we do. The company. They put a tag on the sprinkler, the water.
So you got a tag on the sprinkler?
Yes, the water. You see, water tag is no water.
They've been painted?
Yes.
Water can't come out of them?
No, but so the company, they give me the monies. They give me monies to fix this. So, I go to fix it like this. I fix the problem. Then no more monies. They give me no monies to fix it. And but the monies they give me, I fix this for them. But the people's, the kids, they stay there, and we go to work.
Excuse me one moment. Your Honor, I understand Senior Bennett. He's trying to explain the tag because there was an inspection conducted about 10 years ago on the suppression system, and Fire Marshal Martin could explain to you what the tag means in that situation if he would allow Fire Marshal Martin.
Why don't we let him do that? Okay. So the manager tells me that he's had them inspected and he's got a tag on the sprinkler system. So wouldn't that put out a fire if they would emergency right, the fire came up in the apartment?
Your Honor, the inspection company did tag the sprinkler system, but they tagged it that it was not working correctly.
Okay, so
it is not. It is a red tag. It is not a tag stating that the system is working correctly.
So with the sprinkler system, if you paint over it, it doesn't allow the water to come through the sprinkler system.
It damages their heat sensor, and it damages that ability for them to operate correctly when they're painted, and they're it's not. It was tagged like he stated, but it's the wrong tag.
All right. Well, you understand, I'm concerned about the enforcement laws, but also concerned about these people because these people have children, they live there, and they don't, I assume it's going to take a little time to get over. Is there anything that can be done where I can go to sleep at night and feel like that their life and safety, while it's certainly I realize that we need to get them out of there as soon as possible, but is there an interim action that could be taken that would at least maybe make it less risky something will happen to them over the next, and I'm going to say within 2 weeks. Well, is there anything that you and the city can do, the fire marshal and the city can do for the next 2 weeks?
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask that the exit signs and emergency lighting be repaired or something that they can use in the event of a fire, or some extinguishers, and remove all the locks from the egress doors. And we'll work with them and give them time to do that.
Okay.
And smoke detectors also. And
smoke detectors. I understand the exit signs were also painted where you can't see the exit signs?
That is correct.
I guess they painted that when they were painting the fire.
They just painted they just brought a sprayer out and sprayed everything.
Looks like it's all the same color paint.
That is correct.
Okay. Is there? There are a number of tenants here. Is there any of the tenants who would like to tell the court anything? You've heard my rulings. You've heard me talking. and I know this is difficult for you because this is your home. And some of you have lived there apparently for a number of years. So is there any tenants who would like to tell the court anything in regard to their situation?
Yes, Your Honorship. We have nowhere to go. I keep 6 babies for all the workers when they are at work, and we have nowhere else to be. And the locks on the doors keep the people outside from coming in.
Okay, well, we appreciate you. I am going to do this. After hearing the evidence, I do find that this is unsafe for human people to live, unsafe conditions for anyone to live. I'm going to close the apartments. We're going to close them down. We're going to give them 2 weeks. The city will furnish to every resident a flashlight, smoke detectors, get all those locks removed, try to clean up as much as you can. But within 2 weeks, we're going to move the people out. We're going to give them, treat them with dignity, treat them with respect. We're going to get them out of here. This is just simply a place that no human being or anyone else should be living, and we're going to grant that order, and I'll sign the order. Now, we do need to, think we have some criminal cases, and I'm going to go over your rights with you in just a minute. Then we'll call the calendar. The City of Rome has adopted a resolution which incorporates and makes the International Property Maintenance Code, the International Residential Code, the Uniform Land Development Code, and the Georgia Comprehensive Litter Law parts of the laws of the city. And this city court is now empowered to enforce those laws, which are statewide laws, but they will be enforced by this court. I'm going to go over your rights with you, and after I've gone over your rights with you, please listen carefully to your rights, because after I do call after I go over your rights with you, I'm going to call the counter and ask you how you plead to the charges against you. It's important to understand your constitutional rights because I've got to sign an affidavit that I've explained these rights to you. I'll go over this. We're going to go over to everyone instead of one at a time, but I'm going to go over your rights with you, make you understand the constitutional rights. It's important to understand the rights to make sure that you're able to make an informed decision as to how you're pleading on the charge. And also, I've got to sign an affidavit saying that these rights have been explained to you and you understand those rights. The rights are as follows. You have the right to have a trial by jury or non-jury trial. You have the right to testify or offer evidence on your own behalf. You have the right to be presumed innocent of the charges against you. If you enter a plea of guilty, you waive that right. You have the right to confront and cross-examination witnesses who may testify against you. You have the right to subpoena witness testify on your own behalf. You also have the right to assistance of counsel. And certainly, if you enter a plea of guilty to the charges against you, you waive your constitutional right not to incriminate yourself. You also have the right to have an attorney present to represent you. An attorney can help you understand the charges which have been filed against you, make sure sufficient charges have been filed against you by the state, help you present a defense as to the charges which have been filed against you, and otherwise protect your constitutional rights. If by entering a plea of guilty, you waive those constitutional rights, if you desire not to have an attorney, you would also sign an affidavit. These rights have been explained to you, and you waive those rights. So we'll now also, if you have entered a plea of guilty could have an effect on your immigration status. In most cases, the punishment possible is 6 months in jail or up to a $1,000 fine. However, the other state laws, which also is otherwise provided by state law, and fines could run as high as $5,000 or more for violations. So these are very important cases. We call the county if you'll let us know how you're pleading the charges against you.
Jude White. Is Jude White in the court?
Not guilty.
Okay, that'll be a not guilty.
Ken White. Is Ken White in the court?
Mr. Ken White is not present. We'll issue a warrant for his arrest, and we'll see him in jail when he gets arrested for failure to come to court.
Rome Singles. Is Rome Singles in the court?
Guilty, Your Honor, with explanation.
All right.
ABC Roofing. Is ABC Roofing in the court?
Guilty, Your Honor, with explanation.
All right, she's entered a plea of guilty with explanation.
Frida Turner. Is Frida Turner in the court?
Frida's been brought over from the jail. She's in the holding room.
All right, and we'll check with her, see how she's pleading to the charges against her when we bring her in the courtroom. I think she actually entered a plea of not guilty. We saw her in jail court a few days ago.
Chief Bryant. Is Chief Bryant in the court?
How do you plead, sir? He's shaking his head. I assume, Mr. Chief, you're pleading not guilty. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we'll take that as a plea of not guilty.
Bill Cromer. Is Bill Cromer in the court?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. He's in a plea of not guilty. Okay. Well, why don't we take care of the two guilty pleas first? We'll sound for a plea. The city versus Rome Shingles. All parties, representatives of Rome Shingles, please come forward. I believe this involves the Georgia Comprehensive Litter and Abatement Prevention and Litter Abatement Act. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
The law and became effective, I believe, in 2007 or 2008.
Correct, Your Honor. This particular case involves signage upon the city right of way.
Okay, all right. And would the city care to present their evidence?
We would, Your Honor.
And who is representing Rome Shingles? Okay, and you ready to proceed? And come on up, ma'am. And your name, please, ma'am?
Vicky Hill.
Okay, and you are the manager or the owner of Rome Shingles?
I'm the manager, Your Honor. The owner didn't want to come.
Okay.
Didn't want to take responsibility.
But you are the manager in charge of the day-to-day operations of the business?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you ready to proceed?
I guess so.
All right, we'll go ahead. The city will present their evidence, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you very much. For the record, this is Rome Singles. It's a internet dating company. And if I could just present the picture. We did not take a picture of each of these signs, Your Honor, but as you can see, this is actually placed at the base of a Georgia power pole at the right-of-way at Regions Bank in Rome, Georgia. For the record, Your Honor, this is a chargeable item per violation, and we actually collected 80 of these signs this day on right-of-way in Rome, Georgia. Virtually filled up my truck with these signs. And we were able to track Ms. Vicky Hill down as the manager in an office in Calhoun, Georgia, and we were able to subpoena her at the office.
Okay, so these signs were just all over town?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. Hill, is there any evidence you want to present or any questions, anything you want to present?
Well, we paid someone to put those signs up, and they were supposed to put them up correctly, Your Honor.
Okay. But you've seen the picture, they're all over the place. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You didn't check to see where they were putting up and give them directions on where to put them?
No, sir.
Okay.
He told us he was putting them up in the right place.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else? Is anything else in mitigation or aggravation of this charges?
Your Honor, the city's position would be that they are placed upon the right-of-way, which is a direct violation of Georgia litter law. But even if they were placed back of the right-of-way, we'd still be in violation of zoning law. These signs are prohibited.
Okay, and the fine on that, I believe, with the add-ons is $1,300 per sign.
Correct, Your Honor.
So we're looking at about approximately $100,000 in fines.
I don't.
Is that?
I can't pay that, sir. I don't have that money.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Well, I'm not going to fine her $13 per sign, but I think the company, the city had to spend a lot of time picking them up. It was obviously violating the litter law. I'm going to sentence you to 12 months of served on probation. Condition of probation, pay a fine of $1,300. Once you pay the fine, we'll take you off of probation. Be sure not to let anybody put your signs all over the city of Rome in the future. If you'll meet with the probation office, please.
Yes, sir.
I think we had one more. Kay. That, by the way, one gentleman didn't show up. Did he ever show up? Still not here. We'll see him in jail. We have ABC Roofing. Is a representative of ABC Roofing. And you're coming up to the podium, ma'am. You represent ABC Roofing Company. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are you the owner of the company?
Yes.
Okay. And you've said you wanted to plead guilty, but you wanted to give me an explanation.
Yes.
Well, certainly. Let me hear your explanation, and then we'll see if we're going to be able to accept your plea. Go ahead, please.
Well, I'm not from around here. We're a major corporation that works all over roofing, all over Georgia. And we didn't know we needed to get a permit for this roof. We don't ever have to get one when we're in other counties like Cobb County. And
is Cobb County your home county where you operate out of?
Yes, yes.
So you don't have to get one in Cobb County?
Not generally.
Mr. Rubin, did we have a case that Bobby in Cobb County didn't have to get permits down there also, like they do in Rome?
Yes, Your Honor. We do have some photographs in this case. I'll go through them briefly, if I may.
All right, go ahead, please.
This is the Crystal on Shoulder Avenue, Rome, Georgia. As you can see, it's a commercial roofing job. It's quite large, and there's a significant amount of large equipment here. This is not a job that pops up overnight and you forget to get your permit. They do this for a living, and for the record, Cobb County does require roofing permits as well as Floyd County.
Okay. All right. Anything else from the city?
That is all, Your Honor.
Is there anything else from the owner?
No,
Ms. Michelle. All righty. Well, it could be a $1,300 fine per day, and obviously this has been going on for a while, but I'm just going to fine you one time, $1,300. Are you able to pay the fine?
Yes.
If you go to the cashier, pay the fine, that will complete your case. Be sure to get a permit before you do any more roofing jobs in Ford County or anywhere. You got to check in the state of Georgia, okay?
Yes.
All right, we'll call it now. I think we have some trials we need to have. Okay, why don't we sound for trial? Celia versus Frida Turner. She's in lockup. We'll go because I got a feeling the sheriff probably going to be wanting her back at the jail, so we'll go ahead and do that case now. Is the city ready to proceed? While she's being brought in, is the city ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Basically, I got a call from Solid Waste Enforcement about a garbage dump pile that they found on Porter Street. In this case, we found bagged trash, and we were able to recover some evidence from that trash pile.
Ms. Turner, come on up, Ms. Turner.
I think, if you will, Your Honor, I'll hold my pictures until after Ms. Turner's testimony.
Ms. Turner, you've been charged with violations of Georgia's crime prevention litter law and other violations. Are you prepared to proceed today? I noticed you got on a cute little orange outfit today, so.
Yes, sir.
And how do you plead to the charge?
I am not guilty.
Not guilty, okay. All right. The city has presented or told me that they found a lot of litter, and you're saying it's not yours?
It's not. No, I do not litter, and I recycle everything.
Okay. And so you're saying it was not your...
No, sir.
Even though it was, I think, owned in your property. Does the city have anything further?
Yes, Your Honor. If you could, I have a few photographs to offer to court.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Your Honor, this is the litter pile that was located on Porter Street in South Rome. It's mostly household garbage, food items. However, we do dig through this garbage to see if we can find any evidence as to who